Hello, my name is Seth Gunter, and welcome to Gunterian Productions. Recently, I have been listening to movie and video game soundtracks to help me study, write, and sleep. One of those soundtracks is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. For those who haven't played the game, Breath of the Wild is set in a world that has settled into the apocalypse. Calamity Ganon, an evil being wrought with anger and hate, looms over the land and has infected it with enemies such as bokoblins, skeletons, giants, and many more. Even these technological powerhouses known as Guardians created to protect the citizens of Hyrule against Ganon have been taken over and are used to do his bidding. You play as the iconic hero Link. You failed to defeat Ganon 100 years ago, fell into a deep cryogenic slumber, and wake up to the present day with the goal to finish what you started. But what's strange is that while some merchants and scavengers seem inconvenienced by Ganon's goons, and while Hyrule Castle is overrun by Guardians and Ganon goop, the citizens of Hyrule seem at home. The four unique races, the Zora, the Rito, the Gorons, and the Gerudo, have retreated to their own regions and have rebuilt societies filled with economies, infrastructure, and families. The more human Hyruleans have done much of the same with towns like Kakariko and Hanato. And despite the danger, there are even some who travel the land in hopes of finding treasure. It's a bit sad because the Hyruleans have grown indifferent to the idea of Ganon being defeated, so rather than fight it, they've settled in. But at the same time, it's somewhat peaceful. While Hyruleans have grown indifferent to Ganon's oppression, nature was never really concerned. Beautiful forests still grow, animals still roam, the waves of the ocean roll on, and nature has overtaken what used to be human civilization. There are a few instances where Ganon has affected nature, but by and large, it's left untouched by the evil influence. So when you step into this world, rather than this air of epic adventure surrounding you, you feel this quiet sadness as you roam the land, preparing for your battle against something that feels normal. So when creating music to support a world like this, it's not really appropriate to have a soundtrack as bombastic and adventurous as the Zelda games of the past. This adventure is so much quieter and subdued, and so is the soundtrack. It's filled with space. A lot of space. Notes will come and go, and when they do come, they're quiet and pensive. The three composers take a page out of Debussy's whole tone book and leave us with chords that don't really feel like chords at all. They feel stuck in time, and for this, the soundtrack is one of my favorites. While listening to it, I'm reminded of that world that is stuck under the thumb of oppression but has grown quiet against it. And with that, I am reminded of the country I am living in now. The virus has kept us in our homes for almost a full year, and anytime I slap on my mask and go for a walk, there's a quiet sadness to everything. I live in a city, but the roads feel much quieter than I imagined they would be when I moved up here. People seem a bit frustrated all the time, and when I go back inside, my social media timeline is filled with the very next disaster. I miss my family and my friends, and honestly, like the scavengers looking for treasure, I have too often thrown caution to the wind to see them. And if a pandemic wasn't enough, last summer brought racial injustice to the forefront of a lot of people's minds and a lot of people's timelines. Seeing events such as these reanimated over and over again can be tiring for the soul. And as the virus rages, so does violence against Asian Americans, as anti-Asian sentiments have fueled a fire against them. As an Asian American myself, I would be lying if I said I didn't sometimes grow hopeless in fighting it. So with all that, it feels appropriate for me to listen to soundtracks such as Breath of the Wild. The music feels like it's stuck in time and space, just as I feel right now. But there's one song that doesn't quite feel like that. For myself and many others, this song and its mission from the ground up are standout moments from the game. Tarrey Town is found in the Akala region of the map. It's tucked away on this plateau, and when you first arrive at the town, it's not really a town at all. All that's there is a single goddess statue and nothing else. It's a beautiful little plateau for sure. It sits close to Malin Bay, overlooks the Akala Highlands, and towers over Lake Akala. It's gorgeous. But when you buy a house in Hanato Village, one of the carpenters, Hudson, gets transferred to build a town there. When you go back to the plateau after talking to him, he's built a little house and is slaving away at a giant boulder. He promptly asks you to commit mass deforestation to collect wood, as well as recruit citizens from each major race to help build the rest of the town. All while you're doing this, the best song in the entire game provides a backdrop to your mission. When you first arrive at the empty Tarrey Town, this simple little tune plays. But as you move through the mission, recruiting more and more people, the song grows in complexity and texture. Since each unique race has a unique instrument associated with them, when they are recruited to Tarrey Town, that very instrument gets introduced to the ensemble. When Grayson the Goron joins the team, a trombone and light percussion are added. When Ronson the Gerudo joins, a dulcimer is added. When Fyson the Rito joins, a clarinet is added. And finally, when Capson the Zora joins, a guitar and shaker are added and the piano is dropped. The music is reminiscent of the Plateu itself. Both are beautiful yet bare bones before you, Hudson, and the others touched it. And when all is said and done, something even more beautiful was created. And to cap off this side quest, there is a wedding. Hudson and Ronson get married, and this act of matrimony fills the music with a string section and some final bits of texture. With that, your quest and the music behind it is fully completed. You can stand above this town and look at all that was built. What was once an empty plateau is now a lovely melting pot of all Hyrulean cultures, with the music amplifying it tenfold. I love this quest and its music. When I think of Breath of the Wild, this is a moment that I think of. The time we're in a world that felt like it was stuck, the people in it moved forward, even just a little. And it seems kind of stupid to look this much into such a quest, because I'm sure the developers didn't mean for it to be a commentary on the human condition. However, I am stupid and I'm looking too much into this quest. This little town and its song give me a lot of hope for myself and for the world that I live in. Right now, there is no guarantee that any of the oppression we face, whether germ or otherwise, will end. That sounds incredibly depressing, but it's unfortunately true. If it all eventually ends, there is no telling when that will come and if the world will even look the same after. Playing as Link, we know that Ganon will be extinguished, but as the player, we know he'll be resurrected. And as a Hyrulean, what are they to do? They're powerless to stop it, or at least they feel that way. And I do too. But anytime I hear Tarrey Town, that stupid little song gives me an ounce of hope. The goal of the Hyruleans that day was to not rebuild a former castle, but to build a new town. Not to return to the old world, but to build a new one. As death looms over them with no hope of defeating it, why not do what you can? Why not build a humble town filled with a diverse culture? Why not get married? Why not? When you have nothing to lose, why not? And for me now, I have to wake up and remind myself of this very thing. That while death feels like it's around every corner, I have to do what I can. Despite the virus, I have to figure out ways to stay connected with the people I love so we can still create beautiful memories even in distance. And despite all the racial injustice on Asians or otherwise, I have to figure out how to be proud in my own skin, stand up for those who aren't, and also find joy in it all. I have to believe in a world where all skin tones, cultures, and diverse people groups can live together in harmony and respect. It's just what I can do. It's what I have to do. And those little actions of hope and joy are what get me through times such as these. There's no telling for both Hyruleans and for us if our hero will ever come. If death and hatred will ever end, we just aren't certain. But Tarrey Town and the little actions you and I do today are testaments to an ounce of hope. A hope that doesn't sit around waiting for it. A hope that does what it can despite adversity. A hope that can live in harmony with those different than us. A hope that reaches across the world looking for what love it can find. A hope that builds a new world from the ground up. Thank you so much for watching. I wrote this video essay pretty quickly after coming up with the idea. It just felt appropriate, and I have feelings. A lot of feelings. So I'm glad you've stuck around to the end. I mentioned racial injustice quite a bit in this video, so if you feel so inclined, I'd like to ask you to donate, support, or at least look into some organizations that are geared towards ending racial violence. The two I've chosen to share with you are the NAACP and Stop Asian American Pacific Islander Hate. The NAACP has been around for a long time and they do great stuff, and Stop AAPI Hate is actually a coalition of 3 other organizations, but they're doing great stuff too. You can check them out in the description below. But in any case, thank you for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful week, wonderful life, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video essay.